Hi everyone. Today we're going to combine elements from our last two lessons to create robot Outbreak. Anyways, we're going to be using Scratch to create Robot Outbreak. And hey, if you're new to coding or you need a refresher, check out my Learn to Code videos on YouTube, which will get you up to speed pretty quickly. I also suggest that you subscribe and follow me because I post videos quite regularly. Anyways, let's get going with today's activity. I'm already at scratch.mit.edu. I'm going to click the Create button because we're creating a brand new game today, a game called Robot Outbreak. If a tutorial pops up, exit the tutorial because I'm doing a tutorial today. You can also say goodbye to the cat, so I'm going to click on the garbage can right there. And I'm going to go way down here in the bottom corner and get a good backdrop. The one I like is called Nebula for this one right there, Nebula. You can choose whatever you want. I like Nebula. Now I'm going to go get the rocket ship sprite. So I'm going to click way down there and go down and get the rocket ship again. Right there. The rocket ship, I'm going to shrink it. Right now it's 100%. I'm going to make it 50%. Perfect. And I'm going to have the rocket ship start way at the bottom. So when the green flag is clicked, so I'm going to go there. Green flag, let me make this a little bit bigger for you at home or at school, wherever you happen to be working and coding today. When the green flag is clicked, I want it to go to the center bottom. So the center for X is 0. The bottom for this game is negative 170 right there. Let's just double check that. Ready? Green flag. Perfect. Right there. We're going to have lives in this game. You have 3 lives. And when you get hit by robots 3 times, you've lost all 3 lives. Game is over. So we're going to go make a variable lives right now. So I'm going to click on variables right there. I'm going to make a brand new variable. It's going to be called lives. Right there. Okay. So there's my lives. Now, at the beginning of the game, let's set the lives to 3. So you've got 3 lives in this game. Every time you lose a life, you're getting closer and closer to game over. Now, we're going to code it so that the rocket ship can go back and forth along the bottom and then get those robots. So I'm going to code it the way the pro coders do it, and you'll probably remember from our last 2 sessions, but I'll remind you again. I'm going to get an if statement, an if-then statement right there. And I'm going to get another if-then statement. Now I'm going to go to the sensing button right there. And if the right arrow key is pressed, it's right arrow key. And then I'm going to put a if left arrow key is pressed, left. Now, if the right arrow key is pressed, we're going to change the x coordinates by 10, change x by 10. If the left arrow key is pressed, change x by negative 10. Perfect. And now I'm going to put a forever loop around it because I want the computer to forever check to see if we're touching the right or the left arrow key. So let's just test this. Ready? Green flag and go. Okay, I've got 3 lives. You can see there. Great. And my robot, or rocket, moves back and forth really smoothly. So hey, I'm going to pause there. Let everybody catch up. If you're stuck, please look at my code. Remember, go to scratch.mit.edu, click the create button, get rid of the cats, go get a good backdrop. I like Nebula for this game. Then go get yourself a rocket ship sprite from down here. And then code your rocket to start at the bottom, 0 and negative 170. Go to the variables button right there, make a variable, and call it lives or health or whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it lives. And then code it to go left and right using the right arrow keys on your keyboard, just the way I've done there. If you get stuck, please look at my code, and I'll be here waiting for you when you're ready for the next part. All right, so now what we need to do is to go and get a wand sprite because the wand is what we're going to be using to shoot down the invading robots. So I'm going to go way down here and click choose a sprite. And I'm going to go to the very bottom pretty much and grab the wand sprite. Now the wand is too large for our game, so I'm going to go to the size and shrink it to about 50%. Perfect. Now I'm going to have it hiding behind the rocket. So when the green flag is clicked, motion, go to just like the rocket, we're going to have it go to 0 and negative 170. That should be behind the rocket. Now I'm going to go to the looks and have it go to the back layer. So it's behind the rocket, as I said. Back layer. Let's just double check that. Ready? Green flag. Yep, it's hiding behind the rocket. You can see it there. Perfect. Now I'm going to code it to go left and right. We're using the arrow keys just like the rocket does. We're all getting pretty good at this now. So if then and another if then. I'm going to go to the sensing button. The right arrow key is pressed. The left arrow key is pressed. And I'm going to go to the motion and get the X coordinates. Change X by 10 if the right arrow key is pressed. Change X by negative 10 if the left arrow key is pressed. And I'm going to put a big forever loop around the whole thing. So the computer is checking it over and over again. So I'm just going to pause there. Let everybody catch up. So again, what you're going to be doing is going to get a wand sprite. I shrunk it to about 50%. I had it start behind the rocket. So you go to the back layer and go to the same spot as the rocket, 0 and negative 170. And it's going to do the same thing as the rocket, right and left using the arrow keys. So I'm going to pause before I do the next part. If anybody's stuck, please take a look at my code. And when you're ready for the next part, I'll be here waiting. Now, when we click the up arrow key, we want the wand to fire upwards towards the robots. So look how I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to the events button. When the up arrow key is pressed, I'm going to just get this one. It says spacebar. I'm going to change it. Up arrow key. When the up arrow key is pressed, create a clone of myself. So we want to make a clone of the wand. Create a clone of myself. Now, when I start as a clone, I want to go upwards. So changing the Y coordinates by 10 a whole bunch of times. So I'm going to go to the motion, change Y by 10. That's going to make it go up. And I'm going to put a repeat around that. And I think the good number we learned from the last couple of games is 35. And when it's done, delete the clone. So it's going to go to the top and then delete itself. Let's see if that works. Ready? Green flag and up arrow. Perfect. Up arrow. Perfect. Even if I'm moving. Great. Okay. So I'm just going to pause there. Let you make a clone of yourself for the wand. So when the up arrow key is pressed, create a clone of myself. And remember, I'm on the wand. And when you start as a clone, repeat 35 times, change your Y coordinates by 10, and then delete the clone. I'm just going to leave that there. When you're all caught up and ready to go, I'll be here waiting for you for the next part. All right, I hope that's working for you. Now let's go and get a robot. So I'm going to go way down here to the bottom, choose a sprite. I'm going to go click the robot. There's one good one that I like here. Robot right there, so I'm going to click that one. Now, it's too big, and also it's facing the wrong direction. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to make him smaller, maybe 50%. No, maybe even smaller than that, 30%. That's a good size right there. Now look what I'm going to do. Before we do anything else, I'm on the robot. I'm going to go to the costumes. I'm just going to flip him vertically this way so it looks like he's coming downwards. So I flipped him vertically by clicking the vertical button right there. Okay, so he's flipped vertically. Back to the code now. So now when the green flag is clicked, when the green flag is clicked, I want the original robot, that one, to hide. I don't want to see him. Okay, he's just going to hide because we're going to make a clone of him pretty soon. So now we want to wait a certain amount of time before we appear again. So I'm going to go get a wait. Wait. Not 1 second, that's too predictable. I'm going to choose a random amount of time. So I'm going to the green operators button. Maybe 1 to 10 is a little bit too long. So I'm going to go maybe 0.1. That's a small number. All the way up to about 2 seconds. I think that should be good. Wait a small amount of time, 0.1 all the way to 2. Then create a clone of myself. Create a clone of myself. It's in the controls right there. Create a clone of yourself. And then do this forever. So now look. I flipped the robot upside down. And when the green flag is clicked, he will hide. Let's just double check that. Yep, he's hiding. We don't see him anywhere. And then he's going to wait a random amount of time, 0.1 to 2 seconds. and then create a clone of himself. So now we're going to code the clone part. So when I start as a clone right there, when I start as a clone, so we want him to start up here somewhere. So I'm going to go get another go to right there. And let's say somewhere from negative 240 over here to 240 over here. So somewhere across the top. So I'm going to go get a green operators button, a random number, the x coordinate, negative 240 all the way to 240. And of course, it's going to be at the top, so that's going to be at the 170 mark right there. So negative 240 is over here, 240 is over here, and of course 170 is at the top. So we don't know where the robot's going to appear up there. Then he's going to show himself. Show himself. Let's just see where he shows up just for fun. Green flag. Good, he showed up right over there. Fantastic. Now we're going to make it so that he goes downwards. And I think we're all going to be pretty good at that. So I'm going to get a repeat. And I think 35 was a good number for that. Repeat 35 times. And he's going to change his y by negative 10. Change y by minus 10%. Or negative 10%. And then when he's done, I want him to hide. So I'm going to go to the looks button. Hide. And then I'm going to put a big forever loop around the whole thing. So he's always going to be showing up at the top and going downwards over and over again forever. So let's just test this out. So a big forever loop there. And green flag and go. There's one. Another one. Oh man, they're coming hard, this robot outbreak. Perfect. All right, I'm just going to pause there, let everybody catch up. I'm going to make my code a bit smaller so you can see it. If you get stuck, please look at my code. And then when you're ready for the next part, I'll be here waiting for you. Good luck with this. All right, so next up, now we've got to code it so that if these rockets, as they're coming down, if any of them touch the rocket, you lose a life, because right now nothing happens. So let's do that first. I'm going to go to the rocket ship code, which I'm at right now, and I'm going to code it so that if it touches the robot, I lose a life. Let's see how that works. Ready? So first of all, I'm going to go get a green flag. When the green flag is clicked, if touching retro robot. So if touching right there, and touching is a sense, touching right there, slide that in. If touching retro robot, then change your lives by -1. So I'm going to go to the variables, change lives by -1 or -1, and then delete the clone. So if the robot touches the rocket, you lose a point, and the robot hides or deletes itself. So I'm going to go to control, delete this clone. And then I'm going to put a big forever loop around it so the computer's always checking to see if the robot is touching the rocket ship. So forever loop around that. Good. So now that should work. So if you get touched by a robot, you lose a point. Great, that's working nicely now. Perfect. Okay, now, if your points gets to 0, the game should end, right? You shouldn't go into the negatives. So if the points go to 0, game is over. Watch how I code that one. I'm just going to make this a bit smaller so we can see everything on one page. So green flag again. When the green flag is clicked, if lives equals 0, if your lives equal 0, if, right there. If lives equals 0. So here's a couple of new coding blocks that we've never used before. I'm going to go to the operators and get this one called equals. And I know it says 50 right now, but we can change that. If lives equals 0, then stop everything, stop all. So I'm going to go to the control button, and I think it's way down at the bottom. Yep, stop everything, stop all. Now I got to get the word lives in here, right? Because we're looking at lives. If lives gets to 0, then game ends. So lives is in the variables. So look, go to the variables. Watch, I'm going to grab the word lives right from there. Yeah, and I'm going to drag and drop it in there. And then I'm going to have the computer forever checking to see if the lives equals 0. So forever, if lives equals 0, then stop everything. So I'm going to pause for now, let everybody catch up. So again, if the robot touches the rocket ship, you're going to lose a life. And then if the lives equal 0, then everything stops. Game over. So take a look at my code if you get stuck. And when you're ready for the next part, I'll be here waiting. Okay, next part, and we're almost done, by the way. I appreciate your patience. I'm sure you're doing a great job there. Next, we have to make it so that if the wand touches our robot, the robot disappears. I think we should also add some points. So every time you get a retro robot, you get a point. So let's do that. I'm going to go to the robots button right there. So I'm on the robots right there. I'm going to go to variables. I'm going to make another variable. So I'm going to click on make a variable. I'm going to call this one points right there. And I'm going to move points over to this corner. So now I've got lives that starts at 3, right? And I've got points. So I'm on the robot. Let's set my points to start at 0. So I'm going to get another green flag. So green flag, again, I'm on the robot right now. Green flag, set points to 0. When a green flag is clicked, set, not lives, we've already got lives. Set points to 0. So I should have 0 points at the beginning of the game. And then whenever you start as a clone, if you get hit by a wand, you get a point. So look what I'm going to do. When I start as a clone. When I start as a clone, if touching the wand. So if the robot is touching the wand, you get a point. So if right there, touching again is in a sense, touching right there, touching the wand, if touching the wand. If touching wand, change your points by 1. So I'm going to go to the variables, change not lives, but change points. Change points by 1 and delete the clone. So if you get hit by a wand, you get a point and the robot disappears. Delete this clone. There. And I'm going to put a big forever loop around it so the computer's always checking to see if I'm getting hit by a wand. So forever. There. And connect it to the when I start as a clone. Let's test this out. Let's see if the wands make the robots disappear. And let's see if we get points. Ready? Green flag and go. There. 2 of them disappeared. I got 3 of them. There. I got another one. And my points are going up. So perfect. I got 5 points because I got 5 robots. Anyways, there's the code for that. Once again, I went to the robot and I made a variable. I clicked on make a variable and I called it points. Okay, points. And when the green flag is clicked, I set the points to 0. And then whenever I start as a clone, forever check to see if I'm getting hit by any of those wands. And if I am hit by a wand, change my points by 1 and delete the clone. I think we only have one more thing to do after this, so I appreciate your patience. Here's the code for the points, and when you're done that and ready to go for the next part, I'll be here waiting for you. Okay, last thing. To make the game look more polished and make it more exciting, we need music. So I'm going to go to the rocket ship, right there, and I'm going to the sounds, right there. I'm going to click on sounds. I'm going to go way down to the bottom right there, choose a sound, and I'm going to go to loops again. These are short pieces of music, and the one I want for this one is video game. No, video game 2. That one. Perfect. I'm going to click on video game 2. There it is right there. I'm going to go back to the code. So I'm here on the rocket ship, and I'm going to get another green flag. Whoops, it's going to move this over. When the green flag is clicked, play sound, so it's in the sounds, play sound video game 2 until done, and then do this forever. And we still got one more thing though. Do this forever. But when the green flag is clicked, if lives equals 0, stop all and stop the sound too. Clear sound effects. No, stop all sounds right there. So look, green flag. Forever, if the lives equal 0, then stop all the sounds. That means the video game sound. And stop all of movement. Stop everything else. So I got the song video game 2. I went up to sounds. Went down to here. Chose a loop. And there's a bunch of songs to choose from. I chose the video game 2. And coded it so that it's playing all the time. But if the lives equal 0, the sounds all stop. Let me just test the whole game. I think we're done. Ready? Green flag and go. Ah, I'm good at coding these games. I'm not that good at playing these games. I hope you have better luck than me. I only got 1 point that time. Anyways, I'm going to practice up. Hey, I hope you had a good day today. I'm looking forward to seeing you at our next session. I think you're going to like this one. It's called Rock Crush. And yeah, have a good day, everybody. See you soon.